Thanks for joining in to today's presentation of the Multipub system by Data System Solutions. Multipub was designed as an order management system for companies that have products which they sell or manage on a subscription model. Of course, it manages products as well, but subscriptions have some nuances that are not typically found in general accounting or order processing systems. Things like starting date, ending date, when to send the renewal notices, deferred revenue, grace copies. So the target market that we're trying to reach, we were initially launched to handle the needs of publishers. And you'll find that our feature set is very complete for publishers. But our product has grown over time, and the definition of a publisher has changed too. So now our flexible system meets the needs of many types of companies. We probably have a slightly higher concentration of B2B companies as compared to B2C companies. So on the B2B side, those companies usually fall into two categories. Those who drive revenue from subscriptions, i.e. on the paid side, and those who drive the revenue from advertising. We call that controlled circulation. On the paid side, Multipub is typically the accounts receivable module for all things sold and managed through it. It allows for subscriptions with any start date, end date, frequency, price, the issue and the back issue fulfillment. We do the access control or the digital rights management. Also included in that is site licenses for online products. We do all of the invoicing and accounting, the renewal notices, the inventory management, and the event management. On the controlled side, which is very similar, demographics are of a greater concern than the accounting, and these companies typically have their demographic data audited to verify that the advertisers are indeed reaching the potential buyers of their products that they intend to reach. They still need the subscriptions with start dates and end dates and frequencies. They need all of the issue and back issue fulfillment. They need access control, digital rights management. Instead of renewals, they have what they call a requalification process. They have to undergo a readership audit to verify their circulation numbers, and they may still have event management. Our B2C companies use lots of the same things that are used by the B2B paid side. They have subscriptions with starting and ending dates, the back issue fulfillment, the access control, invoicing and accounting, renewal notices, inventory management, and event management. So the core functionality in Multipub can be broken down into these 5 categories. Under the invoicing and accounting, Multipub is usually the AR module. We do daily revenue recognition and analysis. We calculate the sales tax and do the reporting. We do all of the royalty calculations for author royalties, and we provide reporting and analysis for sales commission. We also do renewal notices and other marketing efforts. So the renewal notices can be sent out on a scheduled basis. We also have trial subscriptions, which usually consist of sample issues plus continuation notices. You can have campaigns to market nearly anything. You can also have requalification campaigns for your controlled circulation. And we analyze the effectiveness of all different types of campaigns. Under the shipping and issue fulfillment, we pull files for the recipients. Those files are sent to mailers, to print labels, or to the email service providers for distribution. We also do fulfillment of any products or premiums. On the inventory side, we have what we call single issue products. We manage the inventory. We allow you to set up kits. We reduce the inventory of each component item in a kit. And then we have back order processing if items are out of stock. For event management, we manage just the attendees and the speakers and the registration. Orders are entered for the event. Users can sign up for just specific sessions, and we can print receipts and badges. That's the core functionality of Multipub. Now, the core functionality of multi-commerce. Multi-commerce is our module for integrating with your shopping cart or your website through our APIs. Customers can manage their own accounts, including entering address changes, view their order status or payments. They can enter orders and payments online, and we can do access control and site licenses. So users can register and then view only the information online that you want them to see. The database structure for Multipub, whoops, the Multipub schema. So we start off with entities or accounts, and then subscribers are attached to those entities. Under each subscriber record, we have a subscription control record for any subscription order. And then we have orders. For all purchases are in the same order table, regardless of whether they are subscription-based or one-time sales. Each order will have multiple transaction records, and each transaction record will have multiple distribution records, which controls the chart of accounts, your general ledger chart of accounts, and how each account was affected. The system architecture, the front end was written in Microsoft C#. Our business logic layer is primarily written in the Progress 4GL and Java. Our database access layer is written in Progress 4GL. And our database is typically Progress, but you can also use the Progress data servers to access either Oracle or SQL Server as your backend database. This is a listing of just a few of our current customers, and you'll see that we have lots of both B2B and B2C type publishers as customers. And this is a listing of who some of our partners are, meaning either companies that provide products that we have integrated with Multipub or just companies that we partner with in general. So that's the slideshow portion of the database of the demonstration. And so now we're going to flip over to view Multipub so that you can get a look at the actual application. So this is the Multipub system. This is the main menu, and everything in it is very customizable or can be tailored for each customer and each user. Every menu, every screen is all, we can design it just for you guys to lay them out so that just the information that you want to be presented is presented to you. So I'm going to start off by pulling up a subscriber record and walking through and letting you take a look at what kind of data we capture and how it's organized. I'm just going to pull up my Lorna Fenimore order, which I know happens to be in here. So the first screen that I'm going to come look at is the name and address record. So this is what we call subscriber entry. And generally speaking, as far as terminology goes, we call all name and address records subscribers, and we call everything that we're selling or managing or tracking a product. So even if it's a subscription-based item, we still call it a product. So this record here shows you the top portion is the name and address information. And we integrate with Satori for address correction so you can make sure that your addresses are clean and validated. So you've got all of the delivery information, phone information, email information. Now this bottom panel of demographics, this can contain just the fields that you want it to contain. You can add fields to it. You can create new fields and just drop them onto the screen. We can take fields off of here. So this bottom panel contains just the information that you want it to contain. So that's kind of a look at the subscriber name and address record. Now the next kind of really important thing to look at is the orders. So this is kind of a listing of the orders that are on file for the Lorna Fenimore subscriber, number 18793. And this one, you can see that I have a conference order. I've got an order for an online product that goes 365 days a year. That's a daily product. And I have an order for ABC Monthly Magazine, which is just a monthly term product. And then I have lots of older orders for the product PPM that expired. All those are older expired orders. So this is kind of a listing of all of the orders. Now we can drill down and see more detailed information on each one of those. Let me drag my grid lines up here a little bit so we can see. So there's more detailed information about each of these orders. You can see the order date. Bill to numbers, we can group accounts together all for under one bill to address so that we can generate one bill to note, one renewal notice, and one invoice that goes directly to the bill to for all members of their group. And I'll show you a little bit about our parent-child relationships in just a little bit. You have the starting date, the term, how many issues or days they've already received, ending date. And again, this panel can contain just the demographic data that you want to drop on here. I can also, for any order, look and see the subscriber that this record is attached to, the bill to, where the invoice is going, an alternate ship to, if an alternate shipping address were selected, and an entity if this were to be rolled up to a higher group like an entity. Something else that I would like to point out here is we make heavy use of grids throughout the system. And the grids are really cool in that you can drag and drop things around. You can put things in different orders. You can remove fields completely from this grid by saying I want to remove this column. I can add columns to it by clicking this and adding new columns to it that I've maybe previously renewed or previously removed. We have a footer here at the bottom, and I like to have a sum of the sales amount here, but you could change it to a minimum, a maximum, a count, an average, or you could take it off altogether. So we make heavy use of grids. You can sort by anything that you want. You can add filters and just pull up just certain products if you want to. You can remove the filters. You can group by certain things so that you can just see listings of those. So there's lots of ways that you can access the data here through the grids, which you can see on the orders. Just a few other things that I'd like to show you. There's lots of options you can see here across for ways to drill down and get more information about this customer. We're looking at the orders here. There's also transaction history records. Multipub records every financial transaction that you make on a person's account, whether it's an order or a payment or a debit or a credit or a cancellation or a refund. All of those are contained under the transaction history records. We also have non-paid records, and these are ones that are not financial in nature, things like address changes and shipment. You can also see all of the campaigns that a person might be a member of, things like renewal campaigns or sample campaigns. There's lots of marketing analysis and capabilities in the system, which we talked about a little bit earlier. There are also comments and activities, and this is where you can schedule follow-up activities. You can enter an unlimited number of comments and notes. You can see that you can have bolds and underlines and colors. You can even include links to documents if you want to put a link to another document here. You can schedule your follow-up activities when you want to call them back, and you can pull up your browse to search by all of your call lists for the day if you want to use the Multipub CRM capability. One other thing, you can generate a statement or an invoice just on the fly, and I could do a date range or I can do an invoice, and it will ask you, well, which invoice do you want to print? And you can pull up the one that you choose, and you can hit a preview of it, and it will generate it for you on the fly, which you can then print or email out to the customer. So just one other quick thing that I'd like to show you here. I'll show you the shipping history here because we have a complete log of all of the items that you've shipped, whether they're premiums or products. So that's the shipping history. And I'll just kind of buzz across here to highlight just a couple things. You can have premiums, and we'll track all of the premiums that a customer's received, all of the lists that a person's name might have been attached to, complete order history if they've been a customer for a long time and we've archived things and moved them to order history. Demo cards, these are where you can store an unlimited number of demographics that are attached to each order. We have continuing medical education. We've got a CME module if you need to track credits, and it actually works for more than just medical. It can be used for legal or any other certification type program. We have site licenses, which you can track by user list or by IP address or range of IP addresses. We've got a complete change log, so every time a record is changed, you can see the before and after values and who made the change and what date it was on. We have seed name. This is where you can just insert a recipient of an invoice or a campaign record. So you can filter and see whether your list is being used or not, or overused or not. Or if you want to, some of our customers, the managers actually insert themselves into the system as seed name so that they can receive a copy of every invoice and renewal that's generating and putting out. Do not renew flags, misconsigned goods or reshipments of products, alternate vacation addresses. If people are going to be on vacation for a certain date range and want their shipments shipped to them at their vacation address. So this is kind of a list of what kind of information we capture and how it's all organized and how it all rolls up under one customer, my subscriber number 18793. Now, I want to highlight just a little bit our parent-child relationships because this is something that is important in the system. We have what we call entities, and the entities are a grouping of subscribers, and each of those subscribers then can have orders under them. So I have this entity 18688, and if I come down and look at my entity subscribers, I can see all of the subscribers that belong to this particular entity. So I can see that this is the parent account, and this is the child account under them. Now, on each of these, you see I've got all of these different subscribers that are attached to them. Some of them are even billed to addresses, perhaps on other accounts. But if I come in and pull up this particular record and look at all of the orders, you'll see that I have multiple orders for multiple subscribers under this one account, and that there are examples where they have different subscriber numbers and different bill-to numbers. And so if you were to come down here and look, I can see that for this particular subscriber, number 18325, I can look and see that the subscriber is Kelly Murphy. The bill-to is Melissa Helmer at Data System Solutions. The ship-to, it doesn't have an alternate ship-to address designated, which means it's going to ship to the address under the subscriber record. And the entity is St. Anne's. And so this is an example of how you can have an account over a number of different subscribers, and each of those can be billed to its own address, to the entity address, or to a completely different address altogether. So our entity structure, our parent-child structure, allows complete flexibility. You can even with this have multi-levels of entities if you want to have entities that roll up to entities that roll up to entities. So that's kind of how our parent-child relationships work. Next, I want to take you into our product setup so that you can see what a product looks like and all of the information that you can plug in about a product. So I'm going to pull up my ABC Online product for us to come in and take a look at. And I'm going to highlight just a few of the things for the product setup. So here we say ABC Online is a multi-issue product. This is how we designate whether it's a one-time sale or it's a subscription-based product. And this is an online product that is a subscription-based product. Under the multi-issue product, this is where I can designate whether it's a daily product, access days, and this is used for online products that start today and subscriptions end in 30 days or 90 days or a year from now. And this is how I designate that it's a daily product. I've earned revenue through February 1st, and it points out down here that the way that I earn revenue is by running a revenue recognition process, which you can do at any point in time, and that looks at every order and can tell how many days of service you've provided and how much you charge them, and so how much revenue you can recognize on a daily basis. We have accounting policies on how you price it, how you invoice it. We have a chart of accounts, and this is the general ledger where the account that each transaction will be posted to. We follow GAAP principles. We post We do double entry accounting and post debits and credits on every transaction that has any financial implications. And they post to these accounts, which can then interface to your company-wide general ledger package. You can have titles that are audited according to the circulation audit, which is more on the controlled side, or sometimes consumers also have circulation audits. You can pick and choose all of the demographics that you want to capture, whether they're required, whether they're available, how you're going to validate them. You can indicate whether or not you have back issues and generate records to ship back issue products. You can even determine when, where, what countries you want to be able to sell this product into. Now, one of the things that's very important about product setup is the rate codes and how we do our pricing for rate codes. Our pricing for each product. So this is what our rate code setup looks like. So this is my ABC online rate, and you can plug in discounts for multiple copies based on a flat price or percentage or a tiered price or percentage. You can designate whether this is at your basic rate or higher or lower than the basic rate. You can also choose to price by customer type or by pricing regions. If you want to charge a higher amount for customers in different countries, you can do that. Or if you want to charge a higher amount for different types of customers, perhaps if you sell into the legal market, you might want to charge an attorney more than you would a student, so you can have pricing by customer type as well. You can also indicate whether customers automatically renew or not, whether it's available for new or renewal orders or both. Then this renewal rate code, this is an important feature in that this is where you can determine what rate code customers renew at, which I know is terrible grammar, but if you have a customer that comes in at a cheap introductory or a lower price, you might want to gradually bump them up to your regular rate. So you can say each rate code renews at a slightly higher rate and gradually bump them up over time. And Multipub will take care of charging the higher rates on your renewal notices. Here's where you set up the pricing for all of the different terms. You can plug in discounts if you had them. And then we also plug in suspension and cancellation rules by rate code because we feel like the rate code also indicates different types of subscribers, things like students or government, or you might have some people that are going to pay, but they're always going to pay late, or they're going to pay on different schedules. Or you might have your very favorite customers that are managed by sales reps, and you don't ever want to just generate invoices or generate renewals or cancel them. So this enables you to set up all of the policies for those subscribers, whether you generate invoices, whether you suspend them. And by suspend, we mean you stop serving product, but you have not written off the AR yet. Do you suspend automatic renewals? Do you generate renewal notices? Do you cancel? And if so, at what point in time do you cancel? Now, one of the things about our rate codes is you can have as many rates as you choose, and they can self-bump up or step up pricing by using this renewal rate code feature. You can have a different rate code which you put on each promotion. So you can tie rate codes in with offers, create special offer rate codes, tie those into promotions, and market those either in print or via telemarketing or online, and it will help you manage all of the different prices that you have out there. Something else that is an important feature in Multipub is our security system. And the way that our security system works is that you first off set up programs and put all of the pieces of software into different program groups. And then you create roles and say which roles have access to which components of the system. And then you enter your users and say what roles those users have. For example, you might have a system administrator who has access to all programs and is the admin role. And then when you create that user ID, you attach them to an administrator role. But you might also have customer service users, which should only have access to the customer service inquiry and address change. And you can put just those few programs in a program group, create a customer service role, and assign a user to that particular role. Something else that is a very strong feature in Multipub is its reporting capabilities. We have lots and lots of reports, and they do lots of analysis and lots of business logic behind the scenes, and they give you easy ways to get at your data. So this order activity report is one of our mainstay reports. It allows you to choose products by nearly anything that you want to choose by, product range, starting and ending date. You can select just certain categories. You can sort by lots of different criteria in the system. You can include and exclude features. You can have wildcard matches. You can enter order date ranges, issue date ranges, whether you're looking at new or renewal or both types of orders. You can look at just active orders or all orders. This create ASCII detail question is on nearly every report, and this is how you get a CSV output of the detailed information, typically record by record, of what was included on the report. This is really nice because it enables you to open up that raw data in Excel and sort, create pivot tables, and look at it any way you choose. You may also choose to just do a summary recap, include tolerance amounts, all of the different things that you might want to include. And when you run these reports, they automatically appear on our spooler, which is a listing of all of the jobs that have been generated and how long they are and how many records were included and where the raw data file is. And you can take these reports and look at them or output them. This one here happens to be an ASCII output option of an expire pool analysis. So this is looking at the subscribers and their orders and when they expire and how many copies expire by product code. So this is an example of an ASCII output option. And you can take this report, and I could do the ASCII preview. I could print it. I can export it to a file, and this will enable you to create your CSV option, or you can actually even create an Excel spreadsheet, which you can then open up to create your pivot tables or however you want to use those. Some of the other reports, like there's a revenue recognition report. They just run, and these are hard copy reports that are typically in printed form, but you can take these and just email them, email a PDF copy to a manager or to anyone that needs to look at it. Now, one of the other things that people use Multipub for a lot is our query tool. And what we did in Multipub was we created our own little program, our own software, to be able to query the database. And we did this so that we could do all of the joins and allow users to create more complex queries than they might be able to do on their own. Of course, Multipub is an ODBC compliant, SQL compliant database engine, so people can use any tools that they want to against the system. But any end user that can talk in Boolean logic can use our tools without necessarily being a programmer. So this is what our queries look like. Say you can program, I think I could create a new one. Here we go. So this is where you go in and you plug in your logic or your criteria for your query. And you can choose any kind of criteria here that you would like. And it basically opens up almost the entire database of fields for you to pick and choose what you want to look at and compare. And you can choose how they equal, what they equal to, or greater than or less than, what value they compare to. You can add as many lines as you need to and or that information together. Now, you can also do this for multiple sets. And with those sets, you can and or, and not the sets together. This enables you to find customers that have perhaps purchased product A but have not purchased product B and really should purchase product B. You just put your product A in one set and your product B in another set, and you OR them together. And this will enable you to find customers that have orders for one of the products but not for both of them. I think this is a unique feature to Multipub, which makes it very easy for users to get in and find that type of data. You can sort the output in any sort option that you want to. And what it's going to do is it's going to write a little program for you, which you can then run, finish and run. behind the scenes. Now, once you have done this with your queries, then we have lots of output options. And the output options can really get in and do some pretty nice analytics for you. We've got a whole list of predefined reports. You can change invoice schedules on them. You can create an ASCII or CSV output. You can produce labels. This query order change will actually take all of the people that you pulled on your query and allow you to update their order data. So it's kind of a global change program. You can run them through circulation analysis or audit reports. So you can do kind of some what ifs, what would happen if I were to look at all of my 3-year qualification subscribers and try to cancel them all. What does that do to my circulation analysis reports? You can merge results of queries. You can create supplemental orders. This is an order generator. So you can take a query and take all of these people and automatically create a new order for a different product. You compare the outputs of queries, generate campaign records for them, run them through some of the postal options. You can even, if you have our event module, you can print badges for those attendees. So this is our query module. Just a few more features that I wanted to point out. We have an inventory system, which allows you to create products and kits and all kinds of things. So if we pop in here to our item inventory, I'll choose my little generic product book. So for the book product, we can see I've got a book. It's a finished good. We make it, stock them by the case, 24 items in a case. There's 150 pages in it, how we cost it. So here is all of the information about your book. And this ties into the product so that we can keep track of the inventory of each of the items in inventory. We also have a bill of materials, which enables you to create kits. And it's very simple. You can see here that for item code SDKIT, it is made up of 3 component parts: SDB1, SDFI, and SDTab. So you can just set one of these up and tell how many tabs go in this particular item code, and this is how you create a kit. Now the thing that's nice about this is when you enter an order, you actually enter the order for the kit, but behind the scenes it will reduce the inventory of each component item. You can also run reports for your component reports, for your how to build your items, for picking and packing. You can run all of those reports using our kits. We also have an event module, and the way the event module works is you define your sessions. That's kind of the big part of it. And under the sessions, you can put all of the criteria about the session: what date it occurs, the start time, the end time, where it's being held, how many speakers you have, if you have a maximum number of attendees, whether you're giving continuing education credits. So you create all of these sessions, and then you can enter these on any customer record that is going to attend and sign up for that specific session. You can also create your speakers, and those are just subscribers. So every subscriber, you can look at them and see, are they a subscriber? Are they attending a conference or event? Are they speaking at an event? And then we have a complete report packet that goes with the event system also to view all of the status of your reports, all of the sessions, any exceptions that go with those. So I think that pretty much covers all of the high points of Multipub. It's a very flexible and sophisticated system that tries to meet the needs of anybody that sells any type of item on a subscription model. Thanks so much for joining us. Bye-bye.